Okay, so the video you're about to see concerning the frame rivets I put on, for the Crossmember and stuff, it kind of starts a couple steps into the process. I've already got the bottom part put on, riveted in. I thought I had video of that initial part of it, but I don't. So just so you're aware, it kind of starts a little bit in the middle of it, and this is basically the process on how to put the rivets in a decent way. Not necessarily how to physically put in a Crossmember. I think if you can't figure that out, you probably shouldn't be putting them in with rivets. Hire someone to do it then for you. So that's all I have for now. Okay, kind of, I don't know, not a midway point, but it's kind of a benchmark anyway. So I've got the part of the Crossmember riveted in. All four of them that go through, well, there you can kind of see that one. All four of these, and then there's one right there on both sides. I've got those in so I could get these, I guess, engine mount perches, I guess is the only way to describe them, welded in. They're bolted in right now because I'm waiting for a machine shop to get me some tools built that will, so I can hold the head of the rivet, nice on this, on this side, and then on this side I can get in there with the air hammer, pound them together. So for now, this is about as far as I'm going to get. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get the rest of them done. But I've got these welded in now. There we go. Welds don't look pretty, but that's fine. The welds didn't look pretty to begin with. Don't believe me? Go look at one. A lot of these welds are really kind of shitty. But they put a lot of weld in there, so they're fine. So, can't weld good, weld a lot. And I don't know if that was the theory at the factory or if that's just the way it worked. But anyway, getting there. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get the rest of the rivets in, then I can... Okay, I'm making some pretty good progress on these rivets. I've got almost all of this side in. I've got one left right there. I will show you these. They may not necessarily look the prettiest, but I'm learning as I'm going, and they are getting a little bit better. Obviously I gotta do a little touch-up paint. This one I don't know if you can see it, I've already painted it, but I did it without my neat little tool. I'll show you this. Took a piece of axle shaft, had it machined so it would fit the rivet head, and I did the same thing up over here. I've got it's called a bucking bar, and gets laid in right against the top of the rivet head, and I've got a piece of pipe over this and my porta power to help hold it all in place. Otherwise the vibration, when you start hammering on it, it falls off right away. So I found a piece of pipe that fit really nice, and I'll get this side in, then I'll flip over to the other side, and then alright, I'm going to try to get this done before the weather changes. The wind is picking up and the rain is supposed to be coming. Anyway, so I've got some paint on most of these, and they look, you know what, I think they look good. Like I said, they're not perfect, but how often are you looking at rivets? Anyway, there's one I still need to mess with. You can kind of see the bracket there, that hole got a little big. I got a little excessive with the torch, and it didn't really mush out. The rivet it didn't fill out that hole nice. So I'm going to grab the welder, fill that in a little bit. Then over here I've got to do something similar. It just dawned on me a little bit ago why, because that one, I'm not going to touch it because it's probably still hot. And that one is like that a little bit. And that one's a little bit like that. The holes in this piece were a little bit bigger. And like I said, it just dawned on me a little bit ago that the vehicle that this Crossmember came out of, the entire left side of the vehicle, that entire frame rail, wherever there's a rivet, it was actually bolted together, which is weird. I've never seen that ever before, and I've talked to a couple other guys, and they look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. So then these holes were actually a little bit bigger for the bolts to go through. So in hindsight, now knowing what I know now, I should have used the bigger rivets that I have, the same ones that I used, for up under there. I should have drilled those holes out a little bit in the frame rail to match the holes in all of these, and then use the bigger rivets. But too late now. I'm not cutting them things out. If this was a 100% show car kind of thing, yeah, I would have to cut these out because that one's a little messed up there, and that one's a little bit off center. Because I noticed when I put these in, a lot of times it wouldn't mush center. It would kind of go off center a little bit. You can kind of see, like that one, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's off center just a little bit. You know, this one actually mushed out pretty good, other than the fact that there's an extra gap there. And of course the last one I got on the first try, and that was this one. And that looks pretty nice actually. So, need to throw some paint on these before the rain comes. And otherwise I think it's in good shape. I think it's going to be okay. It's going to survive. Everything's in good shape. Pretty happy with it for not knowing what I was doing when I started. It turned out pretty well. Okay, right off the bat I'm going to apologize for the wind. It's one of those days again. So I kind of welded up the holes a little bit here where there's extra gap. It doesn't look ugly, but it doesn't look pretty. But at the same time, once I get it all put together, no one's ever going to know. And in the end, this was really just an experiment to see how I would have to do this if I really had to do a nice job. And I learned some lessons. So there we go. Kind of the one last thing I mentioned earlier, here it is. This is where I got the rivets from. This is the only place I've been able to find that looks like they have rivets for this type of stuff. So there's the website, bigflatrivets.com. And this is their catalog. Got all the different kinds in the back here. I'll flip over. It kind of tells you where some of them are and how to figure what size you need, and this thing's not staying open for me, sorry. You know, like the round head, there it is. You know, I was talking about that earlier. You know, the 1 3/4 time the shank size to get the head or the height, you know, etc., etc. You know, it's all in there. It kind of tells you how to size them up once you get them. All this stuff's on their website too, with some more stuff. So seems to be a pretty decent guy to work with. But like I said, that's the only place I've been able to find that does these frame rivets, these big, you know, heat set rivets, if you want to call them that.